original Xbox was a unique console, and it certainly has its fair share of great games. Of course, everyone remembers the Halos and the Fables as they continued and saw other releases on the Xbox 360, and with Halo's case, they're still getting games to this day on the Xbox One. I'm your host as always, KMac Time, and today I want to go over a few great games that would be great to make a comeback on the Xbox One that were originally on the original Xbox. But before I get into this list, I want to go over a few things. First, these games are in no particular order, and they are all Xbox exclusives, so no games like Beyond Good or Evil or anything like that that are on multiple systems, even though that is a great game. But anyway, let's jump right in with our first game, the Otaki series. There were actually two Otaki games on the original Xbox, and this gameplay is from the second one, and it is somewhat of a hidden gem on the system. And not too many people remember this game, and it's still one of them that I think is worthy of a return to the current gen systems. The game is a fast-paced hack and slash with a surprisingly good storyline to go along with it. I enjoy these Japanese settings, and it was really made for a decent visuals back in the day, and I think if they redid it, it could be a very beautiful and kind of great looking game. This is a neat little series that has pretty much faded away, but it's primed for a comeback, and hopefully one day we can see it again on Xbox One. Next up is a super fun game that I used to play all the time as a kid growing up, and that is Crimson Skies, and it is a great flight sim arcade game. I love the steampunk kind of feel to it, and all the planes look insanely cool. I mean, they all have propellers and not jet engines, kind of a weird kind of thing, but it works. It really does. I really love this game. And not only that, but its controls are super tight and responsive, making it easy to maneuver and have loads of fun blasting away enemies, or they have racing, so you can race against the clock or race against other players. The game also, back in the day, had a robust multiplayer mode, so if they could do that again on Xbox One, and I could hop online and take out some bad guys or with friends, or get on racing with my friends in a game like this, I would absolutely love that. It's another great game that never gets any love these days, and it's kind of been overlooked and overshadowed by more modern stuff, but I think if it's done properly, it could be a smash hit on the Xbox One. Another series I wish would make a comeback is Blinks. It's just a cute 3D platforming game with some pretty cool time manipulation elements in it. There are actually two of these games on the original Xbox, and both of them are amazing. I really love how you can rewind or speed up or slow down time with your vacuum cleaner of all things. It's a very clever and unique game, and it's just, you don't see these kind of games anymore. I mean, yeah, we got Ukulele at least recently, and that's a 3D platformer similar to this kind of, but the Xbox One I feel is still lacking in that department of these old school 3D style platformers, and I think that if they brought back Blinks as a new, maybe like a remaster it, or if they brought back a third installment of it, I think it would do really well. I personally would love to play something like this, and hopefully we see that sometime down the road from Xbox. Now, I absolutely love the Crazy Taxi series, and yes, the first two games were also available on the GameCube, Dreamcast, and PS2, but Crazy Taxi 3 was actually an Xbox exclusive and one hell of a great game. I'm not sure why Sega stopped making games in the series, but it has been way too long since we've been given a new one. So I think it's time for Sega to bring back this series and put new life into it. And I can only imagine what like a 24-person multiplayer mode would be like in say like a GTA-like city, or it's huge, and where you can run through and pick up passengers, and on the online capabilities and the city scope and size abilities of this current generation of consoles could make this game absolutely insane. An incredibly fun game if it could be done right, and I think now is the perfect time to do that. So Sega, if you're listening, get your asses up together and get this game working. Another series that seemingly everyone has forgotten about completely are the Nightcaster games. Now, Nightcaster 1 and 2 came out on the original Xbox, and they were pretty good games for the time. They are third-person action-adventure games where players take the role of Aaron, a novice wizard whose magical power grows as he ages throughout his quest to collect spells to rid the world of the eternal night. The series was basically shoved to the back burner due to its mediocre sales, and never got a continuation on newer systems. However, I really liked these games back in the day, and I would love to play a new one on Xbox One someday down the road. So hopefully they made improvements to this series. This is something that they could build upon. I know not a lot of people know about this series or have played it, but like I said, it's kind of a hidden gem. It wasn't amazing, but it's definitely a game worth checking out if you haven't played it already, and one that I feel could be primed for a comeback. A game series that would absolutely blow my mind if I were to come to Xbox One is Steel Battalion. Now, if you're unfamiliar with these games, they are mech simulators, and on the original Xbox, it used a massive controller that featured like 2 joysticks and over 40 different buttons. I mean, this thing was super cool. It was like the coolest thing ever. I always wanted one. I only ever got to play it a little bit. I never owned one, but I did get to play it a little bit. And it's just so fucking cool to play something with an actual control stick. And with the horsepower of the Xbox One, a proper sequel could be absolutely amazing. There was a Steel Battalion game on the Xbox 360, but it used the Kinect instead of like an actual controller, and it wasn't very good. If they made another huge, massive controller for the Xbox One version, I would buy it in a heartbeat. And I hope that one day they do this and bring the series back to its proper glory, where it's been known for this giant controller and mech simulation. It's one of the best ever, and I hope to God they bring this one back eventually. Another incredible series by Sega are the Jet Set Radio games, and some of the most unique, fun games of the whole generation of consoles. Jet Set Radio Future was an exclusive to the original Xbox, and I cannot believe they have not made a new game in the series since that game. I would kill for an entries in this series. I mean, I absolutely love the fast-paced, free-flowing gameplay. You're rollerblading around, tagging things as the police chase you. Some of the coolest and most fun gameplay I've ever experienced in any system or any time in my life. And on top of that, it had an absolutely amazing soundtrack full of catchy tunes. This would have made you keep grinding and tagging everything in sight. So please, Sega, again, get off your ass and give us another Jet Set game. For the love of God, do this. Jade Empire is a criminally underrated Xbox exclusive. It was made by BioWare, and it's an incredible martial arts-based action RPG set in ancient China. Sadly, there's never been a sequel to this game, even though BioWare claims they have not given up on the franchise as of yet, and however, with no real signs of a sequel. But the game features a great combat system and also has a morality system that changes the game based on the player's actions and decisions, and that was something kind of relatively new at the time. We've seen it, BioWare do that, obviously with the Mass Effect series. Since then, that's been really good for them, and I love how they do that. And it pretty much started with this game and other games they did around this time. And this is a must-play for any RPG fan, and one of the biggest hidden gems on the original Xbox. And it's not too many people have ever played it. Not many people have ever taken the time to play it, and it's kind of a sad. But if BioWare ever were to revive the franchise on Xbox One, I feel like it could be a massive hit. They just finished the last Mass Effect game, so who knows? They could have a Jade Empire sequel in mind. We'll have to wait and see. Fingers crossed on that. Panzer Dragoon Orta is the sequel to the previous Panzer Dragoon games on the Sega Saturn, which are some of the most sought-after games by collectors. But anyway, the game is an on-rails shooter where you are riding a dragon, and it's such a cool premise for a game. And on top of that, the game is absolutely beautiful on the original Xbox. Sadly, yet again, this is a series that hasn't gotten a new game since, believe it or not, 2002. And that is absolutely insane to me. I can only imagine the possibilities of a proper sequel on the Xbox One. It would be a must-buy for me, and I'm sure many others as well. The franchise is one that deserves to be revived, and I pray that Sega does it sooner rather than later. Again, this is a series that is, you know, really loved by fans all over the world. It's got a huge following, and they haven't had a new game in, like, what's that, 15 years they haven't made one of these games. And I think the time is now. I think the time is almost perfect for either a remastering of all the original games, because they're so pricey, they're hard to find on the Sega Saturn, or maybe another proper installment, which I would also accept, or maybe both, who knows. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll see another one of these games down the road. And finally, the series that I personally want back the most has to be Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which are games by BioWare, and these games are easily my favorite Star Wars games of all time, even better than Battlefront 2 and the Force Unleashed games, which are games that I also love. They are insanely deep RPGs that let the players choose their own path, which again is something that I feel is super cool. And it gives the game a ton of replayability. You can choose from different Jedi classes, you can do all these kinds of things. The dialogue and NPCs in this game are top notch, and these are looked at as some of the very best RPGs ever made. And it really does suck that we never got a third installment. I mean, BioWare did go on and take this basic idea and make their own universe, which is obviously Mass Effect, and that's also an amazing series in games. But there's just something about Star Wars that draws me in and makes me want a new installment into the Knights of Old Republic series on the Xbox One. This would sell like crazy. I mean, Star Wars is at the very top of its game right now with all the new movies. Of course, you have the new Battlefront game coming out this year, and there's cartoon series that are out, and all kinds of Star Wars hype going on right now with Disney hyping behind it. And this would be amazing. I mean, I'm sure it will never happen because, you know, fuck me, it's not gonna happen. But if it ever did, I'd be super stoked. So I don't know, fingers crossed on this one as well. But that's all I have time for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me out when you guys take the time to do that. Let's shoot for 500 likes on this video. Like I said, really appreciate when you guys do that. Also, leave a comment down below with what original Xbox games you guys want to see make a comeback. And be on the lookout for the next video, which is PS1 games that should be making a comeback on the PS4, like the Crash Bandicoot Insanity Collection is coming out just next month. Very excited for that. But until next time, guys, remember that's always comeback time somewhere. Till then, take it easy and peace out. Oh, before I get here, one last thing. If you're asking yourself why the Phantom Dust series was left off this list, that is because it was just remade for the Xbox One and is currently free for all Xbox Gold members. So make sure you guys go over there and pick that up. It's another original Xbox series that was absolutely amazing. Make sure you guys go with that. Sweet deal. Can't beat free games. Very cool series. Check that out as well. But like I said, guys, peace.